Mhm.
Have you ever had voice lessons before?
No, never.
Never. Do you know anything about kind of what voice lesson does, what it's trying to accomplish?
A little bit, but I'm actually no, I'm not. I know that you can get voice lessons for different things.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, awesome. Well, so glad that you took this opportunity to, and sometimes it takes some courage to work on the
Hmm.
voice. So A plus for your bravery. So essentially today, what we're gonna start with a little bit of a kind of a vocal analysis, just to hear where your voice is at. Everybody's at a different place. So after we know where you're at, then we will kind of just start our kind of voice lesson. So this lesson is gonna kind of be like what the first lesson is going to look like for a lot of students. So for people who are interested, this is kind of what we would do. So we were gonna start with a little bit of a singing, just to get a sense of your voice. We're gonna go high, low, loud, soft. We're gonna do all kinds of stuff. So try your best, even if you feel like, oh my god, I don't know what to do. Give it a
Okay.
try. Okay, so I'm gonna play a note on the piano, and I want you to try to match this note on an ah. Okay, so
Okay.
here is the note.
Uh,
Yeah, good. Now I'm gonna play three notes. You're gonna sing ya ya ya.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Good.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, one more.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's very good. Okay, awesome. Oh, one more little thing. Can you go to the upper corner of your right upper corner? You will
Mhm.
see original sound for musicians off. Can you click and turn it on, please? Upper right hand corner. Yeah.
Uh, uh-huh.
Yeah, okay, good. Awesome. Okay, very good. Now, let's test your ability to go loud. So, this is the moment where I want you to try your best to go loud. So, this is the pitch, and you're gonna sing a ga, okay?
Ga,
Yeah. Now, as we continue raising our pitch, I want to see if you can go louder and louder and louder.
ga,
Yep, just like that. Very good. Now, even louder for the next one.
ga,
Yeah, you got it.
ga.
Yeah, now for this next note, I want you to be as loud as you can. So, as loud as you can without like screaming or yelling. Huh? So, go for it.
Ga.
Great, nice, awesome. Yeah. All right, so we'll
Mhm.
talk about we'll go over the all the little tests and see kind of how you did. Now let's continue. Are you familiar with the term falsetto or head voice? Okay, good. So I'm gonna play a pitch. I want you to produce a very soft sound. Some people call it a head voice, and this is the pitch. Yeah, just like that. Good. Louder. Yeah, and even louder for this next one. Yeah, now I'm gonna play three notes. You're gonna sing foo, foo, foo. Yeah. Good. Awesome. Nice. Now let's come back to our lower pitch. Now, let me play the pattern first, and then and then I will share with you what you're going to sing. So you're gonna start with this pitch, and then jump to. So there are two very, very kind of different pitches. The lower pitch, you're going to sing ga ga ga. The higher pitch, you're going to sing fu fu fu. Now, without necessarily demonstrating, I'm just gonna speak the words. You're gonna sing ga ga ga, and then a fu fu fu. Can you try the pitches?
Ga, ga, ga. Foo, foo, foo.
Yeah, so you notice how it's like kind of transitioning between the two voices? Really
Mm-hmm.
good. Now let's try one more time. Let me demonstrate the pitches. So the two notes, it just two notes were repeated 3 times. So same note, so ga 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 foo foo foo. Give it a try.
Ga, ga, ga. Foo, foo, foo.
Yeah, excellent. Now try one more time, and this time, can you try to make sure that the sound is connected, meaning that there's no pause and gaps between the low note and the high note?
Ga, ga, ga. Foo, foo, foo.
Yes, that's it. Very good. Okay, now same pattern, same pitches, but this time, can you make the bottom note stronger and let the top note be exactly the same way as it is?
Ga, 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 ga. Foo, foo, foo.
Yeah. Very good. Awesome. Okay, now let's do a few more. Now, the next thing, I want to test your ability to move your mouth, your lips, your jaw, and your tongue. So let's first start with a silent. You're going to silently move your mouth as if you were saying gla, 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 and move it more than you need. Good. Nice. Now, you're going to open up your mouth with your lips and jaw open. Then, you're going to silently say gla, 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 and they don't move. Yeah, it's a little tricky. Yeah, just like that. Good. Yeah, okay, now, same thing with the mouth and lips open. And you're gonna silently, as if you're saying, yeah. Now put your hands under your jaw and see if you can make sure that so that it stays stable. Oh yeah, yeah, you got it. That's it. Yeah. Okay, so now let's apply this type of kind of movement. You can move your jaw and lips now. You can move it as much as you want. More is better. You're gonna sing yeah over these pitches.
Ya, ya, ya.
Yeah, that's it. Very good.
Ya, ya, ya.
Yeah, very good. Awesome. Nice. Good. Now, one more. Can you put your finger on your chin? And this time, can you let the jaw, yeah, up and down?
Ya, ya, ya.
Excellent. Very good. Now, last thing. On this pitch, first, can you give me a very strong ah?
Ah.
Good. Now, while maintaining the same pitch, I want you to start from the very strong ah. And then you're gonna soften, and then let your voice just kind of disappear while maintaining the same pitch on an ah. Yes, good. Now can you do the opposite? You're gonna start from the very soft ah, and then on the same pitch, you're gonna get strong. Good. Excellent. So your voice is not only very healthy, but it's functioning quite developed. So meaning that function, meaning like the ability to increase your volume, lower the volume, move your mouth, raise your pitch and lower your pitch. Now you'd be very surprised. More than 80% of my students either don't have one or more of these abilities. Now these are very foundational abilities that is necessary for us to speak in our day-to-day life. But maybe some people, they have struggle changing their volume, moving their mouth, or having access to a wide range of pitch. Actually, let's do this. Can you do ooh and go high?
Ooh.
Yeah, very good. Notice how wide the range that you have access. So that is what we call function. So function meaning that you also have access to your head voice and chest voice. So let's take a moment and let's kind of explain what the head voice and chest voice is and clarify that. So I'm going to share my whiteboard right now. So here, imagine this is your vocal folds and we're looking at it from the side. At the end of the vocal folds are two cartilages that stretches the vocal folds. The longer it stretches, the different the pitch becomes. Now, if one of the cartilage exerts more force, pulling a little bit more, it creates more chest voice. And if the other pull a little bit more, we create more head voice. So the term chest voice and head voice has nothing to do with the chest or the head. It has everything to do with the balance between these two cartilages. So that's why when we're the term head voice and chest voice has caused so many confusion. People be like, oh, should I feel it in my head or in my chest? It has nothing to do with it. Now, you may feel it in their head or chest. That doesn't quite matter. What matters is the quality of the sound. Head voice is softer. Can you try it again? Like, woo, hey, what's up?
Ooh, hi, hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's softer, right? That's more head voice. Chest voice
Mhm.
is stronger. Like, hey, what's up? Louder. Try it.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, that's chest voice. It's a louder sound. So whenever you are using your voice, these two registers, they're kind of like changing and changing. So no, so anybody who's trying to say put your voice in your chest or in your head or make it go lower or higher, that's not how it works because the voice is always in your neck. What it simply does is the balance between the two registers. Now, so when it comes to training our voices, if you want to, let's say, feminize your voice, you want more head voice. If you want to masculinize your voice, you want more chest voice. But it's not as easy or simple as like, okay, cool, I want more feminine, so let me pull the head voice cartilage. Certainly, none of us speak like that. We just speak. So that's why when it comes to training, the method should always ultimately get you to speak spontaneously. That's what a good methodology is. So now the reason why we actually cannot just be like, okay, let me pull this cartilage a little bit more is because there are no nerve endings around the vocal folds. So we literally cannot directly control our performance of the vocal folds. So, but we do know that our vocal folds is kind of like our heart. If you want the heart to beat faster, you can go for a run. The act of running is what makes what makes the heart beat faster. So same thing with our voice. If you want the voice to function differently, and when I say function, I mean the register balance between chest voice register and the head register, you are doing something else. And that's very good because you can do the things that's the prerequisite. And there are really only three things. Number one, it is your volume. This is very simple. The louder you go, the more chest voice. So can you go loud right now and be like, hey?
Hey,
Yeah, so that sound, that's the chest voice sound. When you go softer, hi. Try it.
hi.
Yeah, that softer sound means less chest voice. Now, the second thing that you can do to induce the difference in the balance would be your pitch. Now, this is pretty easy. When you go higher, can you say, how are you?
How are you?
That's head voice, right? Soft. Now, if you go lower, and you can say, that is so cool.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so that sound, that's the chest voice. It's louder, and again, it's also lower. We have a head voice range and a chest voice range. Now, third thing is your pronunciation. Let's try this. I want you to give me like the sassiest eh.
Eh.
Okay, yeah, now, can you give me a yawn and make a sound like a, oh, very light and lazy?
Oh.
Yeah, notice how that sound is like really soft and like just light and airy. That is more head voice. So whenever you are doing these three things, the combinations of them kind of changes and influence the balance between these two registers. Now, luckily, going back to your vocal test, we can see that you have access to your range, you can match pitch, you can move the shape of your mouth, which changes your pronunciation. You can also change your volume, which ultimately means that you have access to these two registers. There are many students who either only have one or the other. Those are the students who need to really work on it. That's why many people, when they scroll on Instagram or TikTok, when they watch different videos and see exercises, they're like, how come no matter what I do, I just cannot perform the exercise? It's because they fundamentally don't have the function. It's not there. So it's like, if it's not there, nothing that you can do. So we have to develop the function. But with you, you don't got to develop the function. The function is there. So now it's just a matter of learning how to use it. So let's talk about, if we want to feminize our voices, then what do we do? There are two things. Well, if you want to count to three, there is one. But in terms of kind of the function of the voice, there are two things. Let's work on the first one, which is more head voice, softer sound. So let's try this on this pitch. I want you to go back to the starting from a very strong ah, and soft and fade out. You notice that little bit of a little crack happening? That's a really good thing, because that means that the two registers are flipping. It's communicating. Once again, if we don't have that flip, not necessarily you have to flip. If you can go from loud to soft, you're doing it. But if you cannot soften your volume without going through that crack, then that means that we have to work on it. So that means that you have it. So now let's go the other way. Embrace the crack, start from soft, but this time, just go 50%. Don't go all the way. Yeah, just like that. That's that 50%. So in voice lessons, what we do is we basically refine the balance between these two, so that as you continue, it's not going to be so cracky, it's going to be smoother. And that smoothness in between is going to be where you find that balance that is going to help you create that softer sound that is not this, but somewhere in between. That is the register balance we're looking for. So let's see what we can do to get your voice to perform that way. Let's do a little bit of singing. So on this pitch, I want you to start loud first. You're going to sing ga, ga, ga.
Ga, ga, ga.
Yeah.
Ga, ga, ga.
Now you're going to sing this pattern. Ga.
Ga.
Yeah, and then we're going to continue going lower. And let's observe what your voice is doing. Now let's do this. You're gonna do ga, 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 ga. As you're changing your pronunciation, can you also soften your volume very gradually? Not too much, just very gradually.
Ga, 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 ga.
Now, for people who are watching, feel free to rewind back and compare how the lower note sounds very different between this time and the previous time. This time, it's a little softer because there's less chest voice. How you got rid of that chest voice is by doing a few things. Number one, you changed your pronunciation. When your pronunciation is more, kind of like a yawn, that helps you soften your voice. Number two, of course, you softened your voice, you lowered the intensity, and also you made the pitch drop down a little bit. When the pitch go lower, the chest voice naturally is going to want to decrease a little bit. So let's try one more time and kind of experience that.
Ga, 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 ga.
Yeah, very good. Now I want you to, with a shaw, that light intensity, very, very gentle. Shaw, shaw, shaw.
Shaw, shaw, shaw.
Yeah, you notice how it's very, very gentle. Now let's apply that to a little bit higher, so louder. You're gonna do this. Shaw, 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 shaw. As you're going up, increase your volume while at the same time maintain this softer texture.
Sha, 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 sha,
Good. Now find this pitch. Sha.
sha,
Yeah, that's it. Very good. Now from that sha, you're gonna do this. You're gonna do sha and get loud.
sha,
Yeah. Just like that. So that the chest voice coming in. Now from loud to soft, ah.
sha.
Yeah, that's so much better. Just like that. Very good. Now, here in my lesson, cracking is a really good thing because cracking just means that the registers are figuring things out. And as it figures out, it needs to crack. So we need to start kind of reconfigure our brain whenever it cracks and just be like, good. Kind of brainwash yourself. So now, do this. You're going to say, Sha, how are you?
Sha, how are you?
That's it, just like that. Who are you talking to?
Who are you talking to?
Okay, now this one, just to point out so that we can kind of analyze it, this one is too heady, meaning a little too much head voice. Now, because a feminine voice is soft, but it's somewhere in between. Let's find that sha again. Sha, how are you?
Sha, how are you?
Yeah, sha, who are you talking to?
Sha, who are you talking to?
Yeah, just like that. So many people mistaken head voice like this, oh my god, ha ha ha, as the feminine voice, and that sounds really fake because it's too heady. It's somewhere in between. So whenever you want to find that sound, there are a few strategies for you. Either you can go from that loud ah, and then you go through that journey of softening, you find somewhere in between, somewhere in the middle. Or you can just start with that sha and say words that is very ah. How are you? Because that ah, yeah, try it.
Sha, Sha, how are you?
Yeah, just like that. Very good. That's why we choose words like who are you? Give it a try.
Who are you?
Nice, very good. Now let's just so that for the fun of comparing, can you say, ah, oh my god?
Oh my god.
Notice how it's louder, so that's more chest voice. So what we will do is basically we're gonna work and refine that technique so you can really access that middle range, kind of mixed, we call it mixed voice, a balanced mix, very easily. And you can just kind of use it and apply it to any speech. So that's the first element, softer voice, head voice participation. Now the second element, you actually just did when you said the how are you? Can you say that again? And I want you to hear how bright the sound is. Say the oh my god.
Oh my god.
You notice how it's like really bright?
Mm-hmm.
That brightness is what we call the feminine resonance. So let's talk about what resonance is. Resonance is super simple. Resonance is basically your pronunciation. When you pronounce different words, your mouth moves differently. Let's demonstrate. Can you say a e i o u?
I-A-E-O.
Yeah, okay, you know what? So good. This is so proving my point. Notice how you are moving your mouth really exaggerated, and that's excellent. That's mobility. As you're changing the shape of your mouth, you're changing your pronunciation, which means you're changing your resonance. Now, earlier, I mentioned your pronunciation changes your register balance. Notice how when you did that, your voice did a little bit of a little crack because your voice is functioning so nicely. It's responding to the different changes. So really good. So a bright feminine resonance is essentially a space that is created a little bit smaller, a bit more narrow, whereas as a masculine resonance is a little bit larger. So let's do the opposite. I want you to do a yawn. Oh.
Oh.
Now that you notice how you open up your mouth, you probably also feel like something in the throat also get a little bit expansive. That is a larger space. That is a masculine resonance. So let's work on our feminine resonance for now. I want you to give me a very loud on pitch, loud sound on this pitch. You're gonna sing Ga, ga, ga.
Ga, ga, ga.
Good. Now let's apply it to these pitches.
Ga, ga, ga.
Good. One more.
Ga, ga, ga.
You're so good at this. So you see how it's like very annoying, it's very piercing, very bright. Now, can you
Mm-hmm.
speak like a valley girl? I want you to say, ew.
Ew.
That is so crazy.
That is so crazy.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. So that's how Valley Girls, the reason why they sound so annoying is because their voice is so bright and it's so piercing. And how you create that is, you know what? Instead of me telling you how you create that, let's see if you can build that awareness and let's see if you can tell me what are you doing. So I want you to do this. You're going to open up your jaw and your lips. You're going to put your hand under your jaw so that it's stable. I want you to say, ah, eh, and move your tongue.
Oh, eh, oh, eh.
What do you notice your tongue doing between the two vowels?
Closing out my throat. It's uh
Okay.
it's making the air come out very narrow and very piercing.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. So by visually looking at you, we can see that your tongue is going ah, eh, kind of moving up and down. Now that
Mm-hmm.
action of the moving up and down is what changes the space inside of your oral cavity. It's not just the tongue. There are many, many small little tiny little muscles. There are way too many, and it's too impossible to control them directly. But the tongue is the major one that we can really feel. So really what we want to do is to make the root of the tongue lift up. Our tongue goes from the tip all the way down here. It goes quite deep. So when you're doing ah, the root of the tongue is lifting up. So can you do the same thing again and just kind of get a sense of what's happening here?
Oh, eh, oh, eh, oh, eh, oh, eh, oh, eh. Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent.
Oh, eh. Yeah.
Excellent. That's why many times for people to really get that bright sound, we can stick our tongue out and be like, ah. Can you give it a try?
Eh.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's super bright. Now the challenge is, can you stick your tongue back inside of your mouth? Just meaning don't stick it out. Can you make the same pronunciation that you just did as if your tongue is out?
Eh.
Yeah. So notice how you didn't have to move your the tongue the same way. You just thought about pronunciation and you got there. So that means that ultimately, if we want to change our resonance, we have to change our pronunciation. Kind of like an accent. That's why aiming for an accent sometimes can help us achieve that. Okay, so those are the two components for a feminine voice. Now, if you want to masculinize your voice, you do the opposite. So just kind of think about the opposite of kind of the two things. Now, the trick is, let's see if we can combine them together. Okay, so let's do an exercise to help you get there. You're gonna do this. You're gonna first say this phrase. You're gonna say, when the sunlight strikes raindrops in the air, just these two. First, let's do it in the pure, very soft, kind of yawning type of voice. Give it a try.
When the sunlight strikes raindrops in the air.
Perfect, just like that. Now, we're going to raise our pitch just a little bit, which is going to make the next one a little bit easier. We're going to start the same way that you did. Start soft. And then as you speak, I want you to brighten up your resonance by doing that little action, whatever is here. So start soft and then brighten it up. Give it a try.
When the sunlight drops raindrops in the air.
Let me demonstrate like this. When the sunlight strikes raindrops in the air. And you kind of brighten it up. Yeah, give it a try.
When the sunlight strikes raindrops in the air.
Yeah, it's really difficult. Yeah,
It's
it's
very
hard.
hard.
Yeah, let's talk about why. There's a reason. If you if you've been watching this and you've been paying close attention, you probably have noticed the way you access the two elements of a feminine voice It's the complete opposite. When you try to access your softer sound, you do, oh, let's try that again. Shaw.
Oh,
Yeah. And it always turns into a real yawn. You notice how you make that space larger. That resonant space is more appropriate. It's gonna make it easier for the head voice to come in. The opposite is true. When you try to achieve a feminine brightness, it's loud. Can you say ew?
ew.
It's really loud. So when you're practicing, in order to achieve these two things, you literally cannot do them simultaneously because they don't match. But it is possible to make them work together because at the end of the day, it's about register balance. We're just gonna have to find that register balance that can allow these two things coexist together. So that is why, at the end of the day, when it comes to gender affirming voice, it's the journey is very much like a singer. We gotta learn how to use the voice kind of like a singer. So let's do this. Let's see if we can figure out how we can do this. Now, of course, understand this journey is gonna take some time, but let's see what we can do in the short amount of time that we have today. So you're gonna sing this. So you're gonna start here with your head voice. You're gonna sing foo foo foo.
Foo, 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 foo.
Let's try this. Foo foo foo.
Foo, foo, foo.
Good. Now, as we go higher, I want you to increase your volume dramatically.
Foo, foo, foo.
Yes, that's it. Even louder.
Foo, foo, foo.
Notice how the sound is head voice, but it's starting to have a little bit of a piercing quality. It's not foo, it's foo. The brightness. So that is telling us whenever a voice is bright, that means the chest voice is coming in. So this is how you can start kind of playing around, combining these two registers a little bit better together. Try one more time. Foo, foo, foo. Loud.
Foo, foo, foo.
Good. And get louder as we go higher.
Foo, foo, foo.
Yeah, good. Even louder, stronger. Yeah. Very good. Now try one more time. At this height, if you want to sing this note, you gotta go for it full force. Foo, foo. It's yeah. You have to really commit to it, almost as if you're like Whitney Houston. Okay, so go for it, full intensity. Yeah. That works for me. Even though the pitch went a lot higher than I played, but notice how your pitch was able to go higher. So if you want to achieve that higher head voice, you have to go louder. But of course, if we continue working, then we can work on the volume. But I'm so glad that you did that because the listener and the viewer can really hear how piercing that top note is. That is the chest voice coming in because once again, the louder you are, the more chest voice it is. So now, let's try this. You're gonna start with a strong chest voice. Foo, and then you're gonna do foo-giu, foo-giu.
Foo-giu.
Good. Now you're gonna do few. Yes, very good. As we continue going lower and lower, your goal is to maintain that brightness by really focusing on the ew. Now, the volume and it's gonna feel like it's getting weaker and weaker. That's okay. You just focus on the brightness. Yeah, very good. One more. Yeah, very good. Now, just so that we can compare and let the viewer really hear the difference, this time I want you to change the pronunciation to a ooh. Foo, foo, foo. Yeah, and we can really hear how this sound is not as piercing because you have changed your resonance, meaning your pronunciation. So that adding that chest voice, now go back to the few, few, few.
Phew, phew, phew.
Good. Okay, so now let's go back to this. You're gonna do sha. You're gonna do sha. Good. Now try it one more time, and this time, as the tongue go out, see if you can try to not increase the volume so dramatically. Maintain the softness in your voice. Yeah. So that's okay. The chest voice just kind of comes out. So now let's try this. I want you to say, you're gonna do. So and let me explain what's happening. You're gonna start with a very bright E. Then, without moving anything in your mouth, you're gonna do a soft he. Give it a try. Good. Can you give me a loud and then soften? Good. Okay, so that's kind of the shape of your mouth. So now can you say, how are you doing?
How are you doing?
That's it. Where are you going?
Where are you going?
A little bit louder. Where are you going?
Where are you going?
Good. Now let's go a little bit lower. Where are you going?
Where are you going?
Yeah. That's kind of, basically what is going to help you feminize your voice. So if you want to practice in your own, the journey is to practice the two elements completely separately so that you go loud when you go bright. Oh my God. And you go soft and round. How are you? Once you start to develop, kind of be more and more familiar, the things that the muscles are gonna remember, and they're gonna have a easier and easier time. So that when you combine them together, once again, they will get better and better and better. Yeah. So that is what a feminine voice. Any questions? I know that was a lot of information thrown at you.
God, um, so does it become harder or easier to sing in a certain pitch once you get it down vocally?
It depends. If you train with this method, you're gonna be an excellent singer. Because notice how when we're training, we are going through everything bright, round, loud, soft, high, and low. So, what makes this method so different from, let's say, other method is that this method is called functional vocal training. It basically helps students to access all of the functions in their voice. And then it's just a matter of choice. Okay, like, do I want to be here? Do I want to be here? Or do I want to be here? Like, whatever you want. Whereas many other teachers, seems like they only tend to focus on the goal, the student's goal, which is, let's say, to feminize the voice or one thing. Now, I'm personally not a big fan of those because I have actually taught students who they achieved the feminine voice or masculine voice and they completely lost the other voice. I don't consider that as a success because you always want to build the skill. You want to have more skill rather than have less. Or, so yeah, you will be able to do more. Actually, you know what? Let's just do this. I want you to do this. Start from the ooh. You're gonna do ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah, just like that. Now I want you to sing this. Ya, loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I don't know whether you felt this way, but this sound was definitely functionally much more efficient than when we started at the very, very beginning. Now, the reason why is because what we did is kind of like going to a chiropractor. You know, you get your spine fixed and everything, and for like a temporary moment, you're like, oh, okay, I can move my spine a little bit better. It's the same thing. We sing different patterns, we get your voice to function more and more efficiently, and your voice is like, oh, okay, works a little bit better. and then maybe tomorrow it's going to revert back, and then you come back again, we work on it, it gets better and better and better. You start to do more and more and more things, and then one day you're going to be able to do ah, whatever kind of resonance changes and the texture changes in your voice. Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? You have been such a great student. You're so easy to teach because you just do everything and you demonstrate things so nicely. So I hope this lesson, was valuable for you. You learned something today. And then, are there any questions before we wrap it up today?
No, no. It's sad that this is our only lesson. I feel like my voice is gonna go back as soon as this is over. But I will take this and cherish it forever.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And in fact, if you go watch and the recording, there are a few moments where you actually sound very, very feminine. And so it's those little moments that we start to explore. Oh, okay, this is our femininity. This is kind of how we sound. So once again, thank you so much for your time, and I hope to maybe see you one day in my private lesson.
Sweet. I'm pretty darn sure you will.
Okay, all right.